Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 39th episode of the official Sucrose Stans podcast. Today we have a few guests as usual. So we have a Butterfer.
Hello. I am the guy that does combos.
Thank you, Butterfer, for joining. We appreciate you being here. Then we have Kinko.
Hello everyone, I am Kinko. I'm a Genshin content creator. I do a bit spiral bits runs, streams, and other things, and a bit of theory crafting.
Yeah, thank you also for being here. And Raulfigas, hello. Do you want to introduce yourself? Okay. Yay.
Yeah, I can this time. So all I do is pretty much average endgame, like posts, videos and all. Occasionally doing TC and shit talk people on Twitter pretty much.
Yeah, the Twitter, that is very important. If Flip was here, he would call himself the professional rage baiter on Twitter, but Flip is unfortunately not here. But yeah, anyway. So on today's topic, it's kind of a wide topic. I guess we have a lot of room for discussion, different perspectives. So we are focusing on different methods of theory crafting. So how do we use theory crafting to like apply it to our personal gameplay, as well as like how we theory craft? So do we do sheets, or do we compare clear times? And we can go into it. Yeah, let's just start with the question of how do you guys use sheets? Like how often do you use sheets, and how much do you rely on their information?
Anyone gonna go first?
By sheets, I'm including stuff like Genshin Optimizer, for example.
I'll start. I don't like make sheets pretty much at all. There's been a few times I have in the past, but that was a long time ago. I usually just use it like as far as like DPS calcs as like a basis to understand from a ground standpoint where characters stand from a DP, like from damage as well. But I usually only use it as a reference. Most of the time, any information I really like to get is from testing characters at different levels, C0, and then obviously sometimes with cons or signature weapons, stuff like that. But I do think it's a good reference for comparing characters, or it can be.
Yeah, I see that. Then Butterfer?
Okay, so first thing I want to establish is that the number one use for calcs should be deciding how you are going to invest for your own account. Because like
that is a good point, yes.
Let's say you like a character, right? The primary use for calcs would be determining like what's their best team, or like which ones of the character's best teams are available to you, and you would be interested in getting. And a step further from that would be like what is the most efficient way to get the character that you like to be able to clear a certain kind of DPS threshold that you care about. So it's like it should always originate or primarily be about recommendations for your own account, not necessarily about PvP testing between two different characters and two different completely unrelated playstyles. But people like to do that, and I think it's fine. It's like it's a video game. People like the agenda chest, and that's okay. So yeah, that point across. And also, like Saga said, Genshin Optimizer is a very good tool. It's once again, it's about your own account. It's about optimizing for your own account. I think anything in that direction is always good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
and how often do you use sheets? Do you do sheets yourself?
Yeah, I do. Well, I mainly just do sheets for things I care about. I don't sheet chest every character. So, yeah, I think sheets are a great tool when taken in context, and only when taken in context.
Yep.
For a lot of things, actually. I think a lot of people say, sheets, well, they don't tell the whole story, or like whatever. You can't like take sheets seriously because it doesn't take into account too many things. I actually disagree with that because the sheets were never meant to give you like a one-for-one answer on what's going to happen in
Yes.
game. It's
Yeah.
it's a tool that once you understand the context, you can use to pretty accurately deduce what's going to happen in game. So yeah,
Okay, yeah,
that's that. But
that
you always need to have the context because like a number on a spreadsheet that has nothing else like explained besides that is worthless.
yeah, true.
Like it only really shows a baseline of what a theoretical baseline. Because in practice, most characters changes a lot from sheet testing to practice. For example, Mavuika is one of them. And another character for like doesn't really change much in practice is like Flynn's. Flynn's is very strict on what he wants to do and doesn't have the flexibility of like, oh, you can dash cancel this or iframe enough to like get a third E at C0. Like you're not really getting that in practice for most of the time. And it's
Yeah.
often a damage loss from what I've gotten and other people too.
Yeah.
But another thing is like Nefer. Nefer is an entirely different thing that's like all I know from Hearts for Mercy A till I thought that dash cancels are possible was like 1 or 1.5 seconds per charge attack. And as soon as
Yep.
dash cancels were properly executed, she suddenly could do 3 in like 2 seconds. Like that is
Yeah.
a massive fucking difference in a game perspective. So she on sheets already started very well. And this dash cancel thing is gonna make her incredibly better compared to what we had.
Yeah.
Like, so there are two polar opposites when it comes to sheets. There are the characters that are like vanilla, they don't really change much in practice. And there are the characters that goes from okay to turbo broken as soon as they come in practice.
Yeah. Also
And
characters not just like doing different combos depending on the enemy or like having the ability to I like Nefer having the ability to dash cancel and short rotations and stuff like that. But also sheets don't have an enemy. They just basically use an infinite HP theoretical enemy. So that means that characters that thrive with like low HP or like characters like Mualani that specifically gain a lot by finishing off an enemy with like 800k HP with one singular shot or something, like with one singular damage nuke. That would be a big difference in clear time compared to a character that would need to do an entire new setup for every single like wave that spawns. That was
Yeah.
setups can change a lot depending on matchups, which is doesn't really translate in from sheets to practice, which is something that I believe I'm lowballing. 90% of people don't understand.
I actually agree with that.
yeah, true.
Yeah, unfortunately.
A lot of times when people do PvP chesting and try to, the big argument is Nuva versus Mulaney. I see it everywhere. They always
my
reference sheets, and they always like, "Oh, Mulaney's a 90k DPS, where Nuva's like 110." And I was like, and that's one of the biggest problems with sheets in general is that a lot of people who don't understand the context and nuance of sheets will use it to chest their characters online. And I've noticed, particularly on TikTok, there's a lot of people who make guides or DPS comparisons on TikTok with just reference calcs without doing their own research or anything.
Yeah.
They just show calcs and then try to chest it in the comments, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. It's a little bit frustrating. But honestly,
Yeah.
I prefer pure sheet chesters to pure, whatever they were testing with Nivulette before.
A feelscraft chest.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
The AoE quality of life chesters. That's
Yeah.
to me that's worse than sheet chesters. But yeah, if you do it wrong enough, anything can become just disfigured and bad.
Okay, Raulfigas, do you have anything like more to add from your side? Like, do you use sheets? Do you use Genshin Optimizer?
I use Genshin Optimizer for myself, which is nice, but I don't really use cheats for myself. I use cheats for like just share information overall.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm similar. Although I actually look, honestly, recently I've mostly looked into vertical for certain characters. There are some constellations that aren't cheatable. Like Molani C1 is not Molani C1 is not cheatable, unless it's Stygian. But outside of Stygian, the power of Molani C1 is not cheatable,
It's
in my opinion.
it's extremely strong. I actually do agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think C2 is even more so because like
Yeah, it's
true.
yeah, it's worse for C2. It's
Yeah,
Lonnie
C2 makes
has
your first normal go from like taking 2-3 seconds to a split of a second. Like it's a
Yeah.
big difference in practice.
C2. Oh, also,
Funny enough,
I recently discovered a random piece of information regarding Mualani C2. You can actually get 5 bytes instead of, I thought it was 4 this whole time with C2.
I honestly am not surprised. I had a friend recently get C2. Well, I got him because I pulled it for him for help, but it was Stygian clear, and we were testing, and I'm like, there's a lot of time between when you get that 4th shark bite between when you run out. And
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, I feel there's a way to get a 5th, but I didn't bother trying. So
Yeah.
I'm
You
not
can
surprised by
absolutely
that.
get a 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their C2
Anyway,
is really good, man.
Yeah. So yeah, it would actually shoot really well. Like you would just add full buffs onto like 2 bytes because the intervals between the first 3 bytes are also shorter. You don't just get 2 more bytes.
Yeah, true.
So you just add the full buffs onto 2 more bytes, and you add 2 bytes at the end.
I
So
think
it should actually shoot really well.
I would say the reason why it doesn't shoot well is because in some applications you're just doing way more damage than you need to do to clear. So you're just clearing so quickly that doesn't matter how much damage you would theoretically do in a full rotation. Everything
Yeah.
just dying very easily.
The only thing
Very,
that
very
will
quickly.
matter would be like front load, like killing as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is something I mega noticed with Milani C1, especially when we had lower HP abysses. When Milani first came out, she was one-shotting pretty much everything.
Yep. I wish the Durin info is bullshit because
I hope so too.
yeah, because
I was hoping for a Milani upscale.
yeah, I'll have to do a full update in Mulan anything because her C2, I think there's a way to make C2 and C1 sheet more like they would in reality. Like, yeah.
Okay, but if Sucrose is in this Hexen circle, that means you can play Duran Sucrose. I believe. I'm a believer. Molani Duran Sucrose. Okay, well,
It's gonna depend a lot.
we already like discussed a lot of it, but what are the biggest flaws of sheets? Like, what do sheets? What kind of issues do sheets bring when they are
Okay,
not used
you-
correctly? Like, you can use sheets correctly to only get the correct information.
you want to know? You want to know? Just right off the bat, just gonna say here. This might sound mean and anything, but the biggest flaw of shit is the community.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, it's literally it. And within that note, I know something else I notice a lot, which is again has to do with TikTok fucking creators, is people will use different calcs from different people, not understanding the fact that some people have different standards for how they calc,
Yeah.
and that's not
Mhm.
good. And so they'll reference like some characters' damage, like Grizzly versus I don't know Ayaka or something. It'll be like Flip, and then it'll be TGS. I'm like, but they're 2 different people. They don't always have the same standards for how they calc. They may assume different things, but people don't seem to know that, so they just reference whatever. They take a number and put it in a video, which is a problem, or reference it in the comment
For
or something.
example, TGS is always like super casual friendly when it comes to his cogs. It's always like a lower DPS than what we get, but like I think he assumes a more casual adaptive gameplay rather than people who actually plays the fucking end game. So like you can't
Except
really
for the
compare.
hyperbloom calc for some reason. Bro just decided to make the most, it's not even optimized, it's just impossible calc for Llama hyperbloom.
What?
I partially blame him for the initial wave of hatred that Nefer received. And no hate towards TGS, no. He's actually
Wait,
a nice guy.
how much did he get with Lauma Hyperbloom.
Like 120 or like
What?
What?
higher than
Holy shit!
it's like
crazy.
six ELNEs in 60 seconds,
Wha-
which I don't think is physically possible.
Yeah,
And
no.
Yeah, I mean,
full uptime on Yelan and Xingqiu bursts.
Oh. No.
Yelan
Yeah.
has Yelan has like a 3 second or something downtime.
her bur-
and Shinju
her
is
burst
like 1, 2.
Yeah,
her
also
burst duration is 15 and her cooldown is 18, I believe.
yeah, also skill has like it doesn't go on cooldown until you do this until the skill ends, so you have like one
Yeah.
extra second.
Yep.
Yeah.
He might have hike ball at there. It's probably his first hike ball calc ever.
Yeah. Okay, but regarding that, I also want to go into the first thing, which would be like obviously community is a big thing, but also standards. Like people can use people will use different standards as already said, like compare these two standards, but also just in general. And there's this thing called KQMs.
Where is this Flip? Where is Flip? He needs to be here.
Yeah. Okay,
I
so
don't fucking know.
KQMs, a bit of lore history regarding Genshin. So KQMs KQM is the biggest, or like was the biggest group of theory crafters in the past. And they do guides for every single character, I think. And they made their own sheet standards, which are the KQMs. And these are very low investment and catered to like early late game, that's how I would call it, early late game account progression. Like you clear Abyss for the first time maybe, or like the first few times, your builds are a bit scuffed, but it's fine. But we got, over the years, we got elixirs, we got the feathers, and we have Stygian, which is not doable with these kind of like artifacts. As well as like vertical becoming a lot more important, and these obviously only assuming C0R0 characters. So yeah, we have the savior, which is Butterfer, who made his own standards, and whom I also use Butterfer standards. Do you want to talk about Butterfer standards?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say that what KQM did with the distribution of subs is very, very cool. So for those that didn't look too much into it, the way KQM standards work is, so every character has 40 roles, which is like very reasonable. It's essentially all 5 of your artifacts are three-liners, which is fine. Like you don't really need to look at 4-liners, because if you just have an extra role here and there, it's like the exact same thing. So what they did was there's 20 roles that you can freely distribute, and there's another 20 that is evenly distributed like already before you do your own distribution to every single stat that you can get. So essentially that it simulates essentially artifact luck. And the last 20 you can pick to put into whatever stat that is optimal for this character. So you end up with a build with essentially like 25-ish rolls, useful substats. So that includes crit, that includes like attack percent maybe for an attack scaler, elemental mastery. That goes to your build. But over the years, like 25 rolls is just not the best. You can easily achieve a lot more than that using the modern quality of life features that we get for farming artifacts, whether that's the strongbox, that's the sanctifying elixirs, that's the reroll feathers, the fact that we get bonus artifacts for free from Stygian Onslaught, and the fact, and yeah, so Hoyo is also seemingly more and more willing to add new sets to the strongbox sooner and sooner, which is just really nice. And like Saga said, we have Stygian Onslaught, it's just more difficult. So, like, it's kind of, you shouldn't talk about optimization on this standard, because if you're not you're optimizing for Stygian Onslaught, you're not using anything close to this standard.
Yeah.
So what I did was take KQM's idea of distributing substats and just simply added 10 more roles. Let's say we still begin with 40 roles, but we only have 10 that is forcibly distributed to just every single stat. And we have 30 that we can play around with to put as many crit stats and whatever other stats we want. So it ends up being like a 31, 32 roll build, which is very good. It's not like 1% on Akasha or anything like that, but it's just a good build that you can achieve with like a reasonable time farming for if you actually care about optimizing builds for endgame content. So yeah, it's TLDR is very simple. It's just KQM, but you get 10 more rolls. Well, it's actually less than that, but it's like on average 7-8 more rolls than KQM. And it uses the exact same distribution system. I think it works so much better, and it's so much more representative of what you should be looking for if you want to clear stuff in Stygian Onslaught, or even just Abyss 12 nowadays. Oh, more importantly, we have talent level 10. For some reason, KQM, it's technically
the worst.
Yeah, KQMS is technically just a artifact, like quality standard. There's no strict guidelines regarding talent levels and constellation levels, this and that. But like there's the industry standard, or the so to speak, is level 9 talents. And that's just terrible because crowns are free. I guess people didn't know that back in the day. Crowns are free, crowns are infinite. If you have a crown, have a talent on your character that does something, you should always crown it.
Okay,
Because it's a free guaranteed upgrade, and it's a pretty big upgrade at that.
funny note, if I can intervene quickly, there's this one big CC that hasn't used a single crown, I think, or like has only used 2 crowns. That being
Is it
Slice. Yeah.
Is it Slice? Yeah.
It's the Slice. Slice always he had the KQM mindset.
Yeah, no. Don't do that. Like, crown your favorite characters if their the talent does something. Always. You have infinite crowns. You get 1 crown per event, per patch, guaranteed. You also have like, what, 20, almost 30 crowns on the map for free, just from the different regions exploration.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you absolutely do not need to conserve crowns because you think you're gonna run out. You have essentially an infinite amount of crowns.
Yeah.
Just save up your morale via exploration or something, and then crown the talents that do something for your account. It's just, there's zero reason not to do that.
True. Is there anything else that changes with your standard?
Yes. Well, not regarding artifact standards, but for my calc stand, I thought I would talk about it later. I have a new calc stand. So like I said everything I wanted to say about essentially just simply builds. What artifacts, talent levels, what I personally believe is the most useful standard for calcs nowadays is what I just described. So it's like KQM's inspired, but an extra 10 distributed rolls for a total of 30 distributed and 10 just allocated at the start, plus level 10 talents, level 10 talents, level 10 talents, please. Yeah, and then in terms of other standards, I'll talk about them later when we get to it. But yeah, those are what I believe is the best way to do artifacts.
I guess we haven't even mentioned like what kind of what happens if you calc with lower standards. The thing is, lower standards just means that lower floor teams, or like teams with a lower damage floor, perform better than they would. That means that Hyperbloom, for example, is much closer to Nefer, unless you consider an actual like standard, like Butterfer standard. Like in KQMs, they are much closer. And that doesn't accurately reflect actual gameplay. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong, like, necessarily back in the day to just assume a lower standard. But nowadays, the problem is the standard that the thing that is essentially lower, higher floor, right, seems better is a standard that is useless. Because at like the higher, like the damage check where the higher floor can be shown cannot clear anything, so that's why it's useless.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
like I also just I just want to add too, having done so many different reviews and looking at people who actually try to invest in their characters, most people average around 30 to 35 rolls anyway.
Yeah.
So having less than 30 rolls it's just really
Yeah.
low invest to me. And then uncrowned talents as well. But yeah.
Yeah, some people are like extremely, even though they aren't like that much into theorycrafting, they are like very, very dedicated to one main, and then they farm like for 2 years in that domain or something. I've seen it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that happens a lot actually.
Yep.
I've been on a lot of accounts where people have like one character that looks very good, but then I get on the full account, every other character is not fully built. And it's like, dude, what are you doing?
I
30
the,
plus rolls are unrealistic for most people, TBH. I disagree with that.
I heavily, like I just mentioned, I've reviewed so many accounts over the course of 2 years.
you know,
Most people push over 30 rolls.
you can
And
also
On the characters they actually care about, they'll push over 30 rolls.
Exactly.
yes.
you can also see it in Akasha, because Akasha has a
That-
major
yeah.
like difference. Like back in the day, top 1% used to be like, I don't know, 30, 35 or something, and now it's 39 always, or 40.
Yeah.
Um,
Sub 30 rolls top 5%. Somehow I don't believe you. Oh, unless it's a character like Skirk, who just doesn't have that many rolls anyway.
Yeah,
Okay,
some
it usually depends on how many stats a character skills. If it's like 3, I
Yeah.
can see that. But if it is
Yeah.
skill of like 4 or 5, I don't see that.
Oh, that is also something I wanted to mention. Like some characters, specifically Morlani, doesn't have access to a lot of buffs, so she scales a lot higher on substats than other characters do. Like EM, HP, crit and crit damage mostly because you have enough crit rate. They are all very similar, so she just scales very heavily on those.
she also just has access to a lot of subsets that she would like to use.
Yeah,
So
yeah, true.
She has a lot of substats just by
and
default.
so because of that, limiting her to 25 or around 25 is going to stifle how much investment she can get from artifacts, which is why having more subsets to use is going to be more beneficial for characters like her.
Yeah.
Makes
Let me-
sense. Okay, I guess we should move on to the.
Wait, here, I'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We should move
Where's
on
this
to
flip
the. Flip is just not showing up today, apparently. We should.
Did he respond and say no, or is he just refusing to show up? Because
He's-
he needs to be here so we can.
He's refusing.
Very.
He hasn't done anything. He hasn't said anything.
He's refusing to show up. Okay, we can talk about. I don't know how to properly transition into like your topic, because I also want to talk about like speedruns versus casual clears later, and I don't think that fits your topic. So you can just go on with the new thing the cost. We need to talk about the cost.
The
Cost checking?
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just get into it then. So, as y'all may or may not have seen, when you look at the average calc that is being sent around Twitter nowadays, and for quite a while in the past, you would notice a pretty clear pattern. The first thing, regardless of if they explain more in the small text on the bottom of the page afterwards, because we all know ain't nobody reading that shit anyways.
True.
The default on all calcs is C0 R0 5 stars and a C6 4 stars. And that is the standard. It is very stupid. So nowadays, other than the characters that you can get through the Star Glitter shop, through Lantern Rite, there is no way for you to get a 4-star in any way other than pulling them on banner when they're on banner. The exact same way you would with a 5-star. If you have to wait, if you want to wait for a 4-star to randomly show up on a different banner where they're not rated up, or on standard, that is essentially never going to happen. We have, what, more than 50 4-stars nowadays?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, shit, Flip responded. I just moved houses and am using mobile data with terrible service. There's literally no way I can barely use Discord. Oh, okay. Well,
Oh yeah,
Aw.
true. He said that he would move on Twitter. I remember.
Damn, okay, we forgive you.
Okay, continue.
Anyway. Yeah, she's on 35 rolls, exactly. What are we talking about here? Yeah, like chat is saying. Thank you, chat. So C6 Jansen, yeah, I did like 100 combined pulls on Veresa. No, we can only have C0, exactly. So basically, assuming C6 4-stars, especially the newer ones, not even the newer ones, even the older ones that are not like guaranteed for free from either the shop or the lantern rite or both, is just straight up misleading because how can you come to conclusions regarding anything when essentially your baseline is something that just doesn't exist unless you just go pull for it using the exact same pulls you would for a 5-star. I know C6 for never is so rough, man. Exactly. So what I've come up with is essentially a way to balance that. Everybody knows that each 5-star pull is 1 cost, and I think that's a perfect starting point. Any limited 5-star is 1 cost, and any 5-star weapon is the exact same. It is also 1 cost. But up till now, the default for 4-stars, regardless of constellation, regardless of when they came out, has always just been C6 for 0 cost, and I think that is blatantly stupid and not helpful at all to produce the most useful calcs. So what I came up with, well, let's just give 4-stars a cost to like better balance these calcs. Because recently, what I've seen is for Flints, at least on paper, C0 in Efa is not a massive upgrade over C6 Sara. And that is that's not true for a lot of other reasons, but on paper it is kind of true. But like C6 Sara, if you just started playing this year and you're building your account, you thought Flynn's was really cool, and you see this calc, oh wait, Inefa isn't that big of an upgrade over Sara, so I don't need Inefa, right? No, you absolutely need Inefa, because prior to C6, the difference is absolutely massive. So what I did was 4-stars also have a cost. I decided that they would be 0 cost at C0 because, it's kind of an arbitrary decision, but I think it makes sense because at the end of the day, a C0 4-star isn't that ridiculously hard to get, and even if it is, we kind of need a starting point somewhere, right? So I decided C0 4-star is actually 0 cost.
Yeah.
And immediately you'll see this benefits characters like Sucrose, essentially anything that doesn't need cons. Because Sucrose is a true 0 cost character. She's the exact same at C0 and at C6 in most of her, or all of her good teams.
Yeah.
And after that, each 4-star con, instead of being 0 cost, I made it 0.5 cost. Aha. So, as you can probably count from that,
3 cost
a
for
4-star?
C6 4-stars.
Going up for a C6 to a C6 4-star, let's say you just wanted to grind for a C6 Yansan. That is a 3 cost character. What? A 4-star is more expensive than a 5-star? Yes, a 4-star is more expensive than a 5-star. They just straight up is. There's no way about that. But that's not always going to be the case, because sometimes the 4-star is going to be on banner with a 5-star. And that is also important to address, because we don't want it to seem like, oh, let's say you're playing Wander, or you're playing, let's just say Wander, and Farazan is a 3 cost character. Well, shit. What are you supposed to do with that? But you should absolutely get Farazan for Wander, because Farazan is on banner with Wander every single time. So what I've decided is if a 4-star is one of those that is tied to a 5-star, like Farazan for Wander, like Kujosara, for Raiden, and presumably probably Yansan for Veresa actually. For every copy of the 5-star that is tied to the 4-star, we can reduce the 4-star's cost by 1, aka 2 constellations. So if you're playing a C0 Varesa team, the Yansan is not 0 cost up to C0. Instead, she is 0 cost up to C2 because she's always on banner with Varesa. When you pull Varesa, you'll probably get a C2 Yansan. You're not gonna get a C6, but it is reasonable to say that a lot of people will get C2 out of pulling a Varesa. And therefore, if you get C1 Varesa, well, you'll get roughly a C4 Yansan. And if you get C2 Varesa, you would maybe end up with a C6 Yansan. Even if you don't, I would say that is the most fair way of essentially counting. And that plays into the calcs very, very well. Okay, before that, I want to explain another way a 4-star could have their cost reduced. If a character is really old, and they're on both the Star Glider and the Lantern Rite, I've decided to give them C6 for free. Because, well, you can get them like essentially 3 times per year, and in 2 years, even if you get them nowhere else, you'll have them C6. So this is a little bit maybe good news for the Hyperbloom Batchesters. Yes, but under my standard, Xingqiu does get to be C6. But looking at it rationally, he can actually just be guaranteed to be C6 in 2 years, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then if they're only on the Star Glitter shop, you can get. I count up to 2 years, so you would get 4 copies of them. So let's say Bennett would be C4 at 0 cost. If you want C6, you have to add another one. And same goes for who else is on Star Glitter but not on Lantern Rite. I don't remember, but yeah, all of them are like that. And if they're given for free permanently, if they're given for free permanently, one copy of them is also given for free at 0 cost. So let's demonstrate this in some examples. Ooh, who showed up?
It's him.
Flip showed up?
Is it? Oh, it's actually him!
Yeah.
Flip,
What the
Flip.
fuck?
Can you hear? Mobile data guy? Wait, friend, I think this logic is best. 3 costs you get both Varesa and C6 Yansan.
Bro, wake up.
Yeah. Well, you get C6 Yansan with C2 Varesa. That's kind of the point. Say C6 gets C6 4-star gets -1 cost with every banner they appeared on. No, because like not everybody started playing or is going to start playing since day 1 that character came out. You know what I mean?
Hello?
Hello.
Flip.
Yo, brother.
Flip. Hello.
Wake up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay, I need to go over my rant again, don't I? Because Flip needs to hear this.
Yeah.
I'll shorten it this time, don't worry. But hey, Flip, do you know what we're talking about? Hello?
He fell asleep already.
No.
Bro, you just left!
Oh, I'm working.
This guy.
His connection's probably really poor. Let's just not focus too much on it.
Okay. I have one more question. How do you treat standard banner units since they are like free once a year?
Oh, yeah, it's the exact same as the Lantern Rite and Star Glitter characters. So I assume a standard character you can get once for free from the event, or once for free from one anniversary, right? And you get another time for free from the Temper Thyself event or whatever it's called, and then you can get another one from the next anniversary. So I assume a standard 5-star is 0 cost up to C2 or 3 copies,
Oh,
and
okay,
every
okay.
cost after everyone after that is also 0.5 cost as with a 4-star.
Okay.
And yeah, a friend, yeah, you're right, but the exact same can be said with 5-stars, right? So what I was gonna say was this standard, like you can definitely go after C6 4-stars, like there's no problem with that, but like I said, you need to. It's the same pulls you have to spend on them as you would with 5-stars. So let's do a couple examples with this standard. The baseline I've chosen for the essentially the default calcs that everybody that is roughly equivalent to what people have showed in their calcs all this time, which is, C0R0 5 stars, C6 4 stars, is a 3 cost under my standard. So what does this mean? For a character like, let's take the most recent character. Let's take Flynn's, for example. So what does 3 cost mean for Flynn's? Well, his best 3 cost team would obviously include himself. That's 1 cost. And another one would be Inefa, because Inefa's really good. So that's the 2nd cost. Now, where would the 3rd cost go?
I know. His cons. R1.
No, it would be you can choose between either. I'm not sure which one's actually better. Is it Flynn's R1 or Flynn's C1?
C1,
but yeah.
I think.
Usually C1.
Yeah, so wait, C1? Okay, let's say it's C1 is the way to go. If it's C1, then, well, what's the rest of the team? You can't have any more cost because we're capping at 3, right? Well, luckily, you don't need any more cost for Flynn's team. You would just use a C0 Sucrose, which is 0 cost, and you would use Ino. And in this case, because Ino is on banner with Flynn's, and well, actually, we have no way of guaranteeing she'll be on banner with Flynn's in the future. But let's say we're doing this with... Oh, there's another thing I forgot to mention. So for this cost reduction for being on banner with a 5-star isn't just for if they're tied to that 5-star. It's also for the current banner, if they're just currently on banner right now with that 5-star and we're talking about it, because obviously we're literally doing recommendations of what we're doing like right now with the current banner. So yes, of course we're gonna look at what we see before our eyes. Yeah, this character's on banner with them, so we're just gonna count that. And of course, near future banners that are confirmed, because we're directly talking about them in terms of recommendations. So let's say we're talking about Flynn's, actually he's still on banner. So yeah. So I know is on banner with Flynn's, and we're talking about pulling for Flynn's right now. So I know there's a free copy of, so at baseline, a C0 4-star is 0 cost, so that's C0. And I know is one of those characters that is given for free to everybody. So that is C1 at 0 cost. And because she's on banner with Flynn's, we also give her 2 more free cons at 0 cost. So it's a C3 I know.
Oh.
As not much of a difference from a CC1 I know, but that's just what it would be under my standard. So for Flynn's, instead of C0R0 Flynn's, C0R0 Inefa, C6 I know, and C6 Sucrose, under my standard, that would be C1 R0 Flynn's, C0 R0 Inefa, C3 I know, and C0 Sucrose. To me, that is a much more fair and much more useful standard for, the default calc that everybody sees first on Twitter, on a Twitter page.
Yeah, for sure.
Like what this character is actually like at this quote unquote free to play friendly-ish calc, under the assumption that like someone is saving up to actually want to play Flynn's. Because it really isn't. People see like, oh, it's a C1. That's bad, right? Well, not really. You can't really say a C1, assuming a C1 on a 5-star is bad when it's literally cheaper than C6 on the 4-star.
Exactly.
Like people have this false understanding that you can get a C6 4-star eventually, just randomly over time. No, you can't. If you do, it's going to be 10 years down the line, and that's just, to me, that can be ignored. You're not just going to randomly get a 4-star on banner ever. You're pulling for them, and you're like intently saving for pulls to pull for them if they're not on banner with a 5-star. That's just the way it is.
I'm back.
Regarding C1s, I want to say, people so many people have C1 Farina, C1 Ovilet, and C1 Hutao, and when they talk about these characters, except Hutao, kind of, like they always talk about like C1 of these characters, usually in discussions. Yeah. But like when it's
Hutao C1 is
Hutao C1 is free. That is something I wanted to say. But like
everything everything that is given from that event for free is also 0 cost for very obvious reasons, because you can literally get it for free.
You sadly can't get the character. You must own it first.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
that's
yeah,
annoying.
we're assuming the starting point is you are gonna want to play that character.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which I think is like the most useful starting point to do.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the point I was trying to make, like, people have no problem assuming C1s for these characters, but then when it's a character like Flynn's or like another character that's heavily reliant on C1, they have a major issues. I remember the double standard with Risley. Like, even though Risley wasn't, like, we noticed later that Risley wasn't actually, like, his C1 wasn't that big of a deal. As people made it out to be, but people were so quick to assume like Neuvillette C1, but then Risley C1, like when people thought that he was reliant on C1, then it was a massive problem. Like, you know what I mean? Does anyone
Yes,
remember the
yes.
Discord?
Technically, when it comes to his personal damage, his C1 is big.
Yeah.
But the
Oh,
thing is, there is not a single melt team for him since his
Oh, yeah.
release.
yeah, true.
He's literally stuck with the 1.0 core.
Yeah, I saw
Still
this.
like Mavuito.
I saw this meme like Neuvillette versus Risley since they've launched in the same patch, and then we have Neuvillette with his new supports, and then Risley with Zhangling. Like,
True. Wait, what would you do if Mavika and Seek Lolly are on the same banner plus Yansan with them? Well, first of all, if it's a banner that is happening just one off in like say the past, then I just wouldn't count it. I just wouldn't count anything special with it. But if it's like the current thing, if it's the current what's the saying? Like the current banner.
Current
then
banner, yeah.
well, I guess Yansan's lucky. You would, if you want to pull both Mavika and Seek Lolly, well, you're gonna have to get some Yansan cons, right? So, what would that be? That would look really weird. It would be Mavika C0, Seek Lolly C0,
Janssen
C4?
C3,
Oh.
C3, C4.
Like
yeah.
Bennett is C4 by default if he's not on banner with Mavika as well. So Bennett C4 by default, and then Yansan would just have C4 for free, I guess. And then for the last cost, would C6 Yansan be better, or would Mavika R1 be better? Something tells me it might be Mavika R1. But actually, no, you could get Mavika C1. You get Mavika C1 and Yansan C6 at the same time. But that's so, like, yeah, but that's extremely that's literally a one-off. Like for this banner, as soon as the banner's over, that's just gone. So like in general, you would never like assume that in a calc, because well, when is Yansan ever gonna be on banner with Mavika and Seek Lolly at the same time? What else? DK, I never consider 5-star cons because I don't pull them for random characters. Well, yeah, that's perfectly fair. But if you do that, in the same vein, you cannot consider like C6 4-stars to that much of an extent either. Were Mavika and Veresa on the same banner, by the way? No. But Mavika...
No.
Yansan was on banner at some point with both Mavika and Veresa. But, again, Mavika's had more than one banner. So, and Yansan is not tied to Mavika in it by any means. So, like, you can't just have free Yansan cons on your Veresa team from the Mavika you pulled. You know what I mean?
Wait, what do you think about, like, it doesn't happen that often, I think, but what about characters that are like 4-stars that are like seem to be banished to the Chronicled, like Farazan, for example, because Zhao is chronicled, Wanderer is chronicled, and she's probably also chronicled then, because like these characters, like she is on the Sumeru Chronicle technically, and it's probably the only, unless Vaka is an Nemo carry, it's probably the only way to get her. Like, what would you assume on Farazan then?
Yeah. I was actually talking about this. So yeah, like it's exactly what it looks like. In reality, if you start the game now, if you want to play Xiao, you are fucked. So you are cooked. So yeah, it would just be Xiao. It would be 3 costs on Farazan, so that's 4 costs right away. And if you want to get Xianyun and Farina, that's another 2. So yeah, Xiao's baseline team is 6 costs. That's just the way it is because that's exactly what happens in reality. You can't
Oh, that
like
sucks, yeah.
it's only like this because it's this bad in reality. It's not because like I don't
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Xiao's
it literally is this bad for Zhao.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, unless Tianyun reruns again and Farzan's on banner with her, and then it just becomes a lot better. But
Wait, was Janyon on Chronicle? No, she wasn't, right?
no,
Shanyun is
she had a
Leo.
rerun. Also, you don't just pull on one banner. For decently old 4-star, it's likely a player could have pulled on different banner and cons for them. Yeah, exactly. Which is why. Yeah, that is a fair point. But counterpoint, even if you pull on banner for that 4-star, it's possible that you never get them because 4-stars don't have a guarantee. In my mind, it is more fair to do it the way I do. You just assume 0 cost at C0 by default, and each con is 0.5 cost. If you want, if like the cons on the 4-star is optimal for a certain cost bracket. Because like there's literally no way to regulate randomly getting 4-stars on other banners.
Yeah, true.
Indeed.
Yeah. Like I just have C6 4-star specifically pull for them until 5-star pity. Expect 2 cons per banner. Yeah, exactly. You can do that. But you know what else you could do? Pull for 5-star cons. It's your choice that you're not pulling for 5-star cons, and that's perfectly fine. But like, you know, that's a choice you made. Does that make sense? Yeah. Any questions?
I
Not
don't
really.
think I have one. It is a very good. I wish, I don't know how like it might be hard to get people to actually use it because speedrunners are like obsessed with the cost jesting. Like a lot of them just put it in the title and stuff. Okay, actually speedrunners themselves aren't that obsessed, but it's just culture for them to put it in the title.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I need to do a different name for this system. Like cost just sounds so like a trigger word for a lot of people now.
Yeah,
I could do
sure.
like pull weight or like pull weight. That's a pretty come up with ideas for me. Okay, no. Pull weight is what I had in mind, but no, we're not doing pull value. No.
The pull value is already established as something completely different. So
Full value.
Can go.
I would think pull weight sounds pretty ideal in this scenario. Like just the weight of pulling a certain thing, which, yeah.
Yeah, like imagine
Pull
one
Yeah.
full value Moalani speedrun.
What? 0 pull value. Like
Gaming.
You could also
shit.
just instead of
0.
gold, like some people use 4 gold and stuff, like cyan, I think. You could also do like diamonds and silver or something. I don't know.
I was so
Diamond.
confused by the term gold for a long while, man.
Yeah.
Diamond. Yeah.
I never understood it meant cost.
Diamond. Pull. I think pull weight is the most rational one.
Pull weight.
That
yeah.
is
It is kind of a mouthful to say versus just saying cost, though.
Yeah,
but-
no, it is that's the problem. Pull weight. PW. That's even worse. Pull
Pull
weight.
weight.
Unfortunately, W has
When
so
it
many
comes
symbols
to
in it.
And when it comes to this community, the less words you have to use, the better.
Yeah. Imagine, like, why do we actually just say CN instead of Chinese? Like, it would be, it doesn't even shorten anything, does it? Like CN, Chinese.
I mean,
Cemented.
Chinese. To say Chinese is harder to say than like it's not just syllables, but it's also harder than just CN versus Chinese. You have to pronounce the E's. It's not a syllable. It's not an extra syllable, but it is. more to say than just
Laziness
CN.
maxing.
I mean,
Debt value. Generational debt value.
General.
That's
Okay, that's funny.
GDP. Bro. Generational debt value. Pull weight. It's such a mouthful. That's a problem. Cost. Weight.
You can wait.
Pull.
I mean, wait
we
could work.
should
Just take out the pull.
transition to the next topic, which would be like, we've talked enough about sheets. Now we can talk about like speedruns and showcases. So first of all, the most annoying type of showcase, I hope we can all agree on this. It's the nuke showcase. Use Sucrose, Bennett, and Mona back in the day, and then do as much damage as
That's
possible,
so old.
and use that to form a conclusion.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I don't
That's
think
not
any. Right, I was okay. I actually was gonna. No, I was gonna say I don't think anyone uses that for conclusion these days, but I take that back. Actually, I've had a lot of people fight for writing against me every time I always say or she shit on stream. But yeah, but writing can do like 800k at C3. I'm like, dog, it's one fucking hit. What do you mean? It's just,
Also,
and
I don't think.
and it's C2.
yeah, it's
Like there's a basically nuke bot chesting, in which it was an actual thing back then. But ever since Molani, they just reverted it. Nuking is bad now.
yeah. A nuke DPS is worse than a sustained DPS, so to speak, is what people tend to say.
They don't get it.
Nebula, let's go.
Okay, to be fair,
Molani
there's,
isn't
there's,
as good.
my tutorial
there's
where I show you how Molani can go from 20k DPS to 200 in a single video. First step, get good artifacts. And then the next one, he's just doing a showcase with like Mona, Sucrose, fucking Mavuik or PMC. And they're just, 2 million damage Molani on this way up boss that has 200 vulnerability or some shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
to be fair, it's not just this like a one hit mentality, like one big nuke. That people like it's less usual that people draw a conclusion from this, but it's usually just one specific buffed like rotation showcase that still uses supports that you definitely wouldn't use and uses maximum fanfare for arena, and like just a showcase type that you wouldn't use in actual gameplay.
Yeah.
And what I've seen, what kind of brain rot I've seen was someone that said Mualani's signature is useless because Witsit gives you a bigger number. That
it only
so
gives you a
funny.
big number on the. Yeah, only on the.
And it's a
ultimate.
1 in 3 chance. If you get the attack buff,
It's over.
yeah, it's
Reset.
over.
Yeah. Not only that, but because of how fast Molani's rotations are, typically you only get it once every other rotation too,
Exactly.
which
like,
is
it's so
really dog.
annoying.
Why Witsit usually not assumed in cults is how the fuck
Oh, that's
do you
true.
even make it properly? Like,
It
you
is-
can make
it
it like
is very hard to calc.
in some shit, but in practice it's like insanely worse. It's one of the few exceptions where like
Yeah.
from sheet to practice is 10 times worse.
Also, Witsit lost a ton of value with the release of Stygian Onslaught.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Witsit was really good for Molani and Abyss because you can just reset if it doesn't get
Yeah,
the right one.
that's true.
For
That's
Stygian,
true.
yeah, for Stygian you can't really do that because if you're resetting, you're getting, let's say, the buff 3 times per fight, something like that. And each time there's a so it's just TLDR. You can't really do that in Stygian anymore because
there's like some runs where they rely on just getting that specific buff, and it's like a 90-100 second run in Stygian, which is kind of average for like C0 stuff in Dire, for example, like Turbo invested. I think there was a run where they had to get like perfect RNG on Witsit, get 3 times the right buff in a row.
yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. That's just not. It's not doable.
Like
It's not reliable.
as much as it is impressive, if anyone had the same investment as those persons, I would never, ever recommend them to run Witsit. Just get the
Yeah.
sake, bro.
Yeah, just get
Yeah,
the
exactly.
sig. Also,
But I will get
Sacrificial.
one more cost. I'm gonna lose myself. I'm
Sacrif-
gonna hate myself. +1 cost.
Sacrificial
Oh,
is
no.
also. Wait, how do you count battle pass in your cost
Battle Pass?
system?
Oh, so yeah, I'm not an F2P purist. So for me, a R1 Battle Pass weapon is 0 cost.
Okay,
And
that is
an
vague.
R5. Yeah, but an R5 Battle Pass weapon is counted the same as a 5-star weapon. So
It should be. Yeah.
Oh,
That makes
interesting.
sense.
Yeah.
Is that not how it typically is?
it is, and I
Mm,
think that's
it's-
how it should be.
I'm saying
people
like
use
for normal.
GC Sim. Oh, we haven't even talked
Yeah,
about
that-
GC Sim.
What about gotcha only 4 stars weapons?
It's-
Did we talk about
It's
y'all
the
talk about
exact same as Battle Pass weapons. So
that? Okay,
R1
okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's right.
R1 0 cost and R5 is 1 cost.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can't 0 cost with
Yeah.
R5 root hook anymore on gaming. Fuck
I
you.
know. Yeah, so R5 Fruitful Hook is the same cost as R1 Blazing Suns.
That seems reasonable. It is so hard to get these 4-star.
It is technically harder to get an R5 weapon on banner than a
Oh,
than
well,
a
I
fucking
physical
muted myself.
weapon.
I was saying it's harder to get R5 for hook than it would be to get R1 Blazing Suns though.
Yeah,
to
it
be
is.
fair,
It actually would.
I end up getting an extra 5-star weapon just trying to get the last Farouk I needed R5, and I didn't even end up getting it. So
At
I'm
this
stuck with
point,
R2
we
aggressive weapon.
should consider Fruitful Hook the same as an R2 5-star.
I feel like I think gotcha only 5-star or at R5 should be considered R2 or like the same as R2 because
Yeah.
I mean,
they are very hard to get. Like even when I was going for R5 Zyphos, I got a key going for it. So okay, back when it very first came out. So it's like getting. It's like a
that
5-star weapon.
reminds me. That reminds me. For
Oh, Flip joined
that
again.
reminds me.
Hi, Flip.
Flip for weapons, event weapons. I'm only counting them as 0 cost up to a certain point. If it's from like 5 years ago, I'm just gonna exclude them from the calc. They're infinite cost, because nobody, or well, not nobody,
Sure.
but what percentage of the current player base that actually
Festering desire.
plays the game has festering desire? I'm willing to bet you that number is not very high.
It's not. It's definitely not.
Have it, by the way.
Hello.
Nice.
Hello.
Yo.
Hello, Flip. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Let's hope the connection doesn't kill me this time.
Okay. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Butterfer getting ready
Yeah, I
to cook
can.
him.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Flip.
Bro sounds like he's almost dead. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, so basically we're talking about various topics regarding theorycrafting standards, the usefulness of certain
Okay.
calcs, when they're not useful, and what's the good thing about them, what's the drawbacks, and here and that. And I've been yapping for a while about the series of different standards that or different improvements to standards that I've came up with in the past bit. And this entire time it was all intended for you to hear, my friend, but you weren't here until now.
I'm
Where
so
was I?
sorry.
You just watch the stream.
Are there any highlights? Do I just have to watch the episode?
Yeah, you could do that. Or
You
let
can
me finish
TLDR.
explaining this. Yeah, I'll give you a TLDR in a second. So I was talking about event weapons. So yeah, obviously a recent one, let's say Etherlight Spindle Loot is just 0 cost. You get it R5 for free. And for something like Testing Desire, it is infinite cost because nobody has it. Yeah,
I have
think
it.
Yeah, because
No
you're an
one
old
cares.
player, dog. Out of the many times I've reviewed a Farina, I think I've only seen a Festering Desire for like this is hundreds of times, probably over 200 times. I've seen Festering Desire Farina less than 10 times. Less
Yeah.
than 10 times. No one has it, dude.
The thing is, like, When are you using festering disaster?
Yeah, it's not that
I mean,
good.
Fab
It's
is
not
better,
that
but
good
like
anymore.
to be fair,
Kind of
Fab
a
is better,
bad
but
weapon.
still, like if to be fair, Fab is better, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
like
yeah.
no one
Exactly.
has the weapon. No one has Cinnabar
Yeah.
Spindle either.
Yeah.
So like,
No one
Question
talks
that
all
you can
beta for
use
it to be like worth it anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah,
apparently he's
yeah.
about to get buff
There
or
are
some shit.
situations where you can use it and be fine. So
I-
there's that to take into account.
Yeah, I guess mailed flower will be in it, because mailed flower is kind of getting old, isn't it?
We
Yeah.
all use serpent spine. It's fine.
A certain
I don't.
spine
Yeah.
is
I fucking banish
Stygian.
that weapon.
Certain
I
spine
fucking
is
hate that
Stygian
weapon,
is
man.
so
It's
annoying.
fine.
It's so
I don't
fucking
know what
annoying.
that weapon is.
Mailed flower?
No, serpent spine. What is that?
Serpent Spine, the
Oh,
weapon that got absolutely annihilated by Stygian.
serpent spine. Yeah. Random tangent. You know the weapon skin kind of looks like serpent spine, the claymore
It
one.
does, yeah.
No, it does.
Does it? I don't really agree with that, but
Well,
Yeah, I don't know.
kind of like the structure. No, kind of. Not
I
really.
guess. But like the Flipperman doesn't have holes in the at the ends of it, like the
Yeah.
yeah.
The structure seems similar. What it's meaning.
Okay, so let's give Flip a TLDR of basically. I'll also practice my narration skills because I think what I said was a little bit too long. Anyway,
Am I
so
gonna get
as-
yelled at for not
Yeah.
using KQMS
Yes.
again?
Yes.
For
For
using
using
KQMS
KQMS.
again? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Flip.
Oh, I'm
so I'm
ready. I
gonna
really
explain
hope my
to you-
internet cuts out. Yeah, go ahead.
Whoa. Yeah, so basically, I'll explain to you what I think nowadays my version of the most useful standard for calcs in terms of like actually using it for recommendations actually is. So, first of all, KQMS, like I said, their idea of distributing subs to just make substats fair for every character is very good. I use that idea, but instead of 20 distributed roles and 20 like pre-designated roles, it's 30 distributed roles and 10 pre-designated roles because we have better strongboxes than ever before. They didn't even have strongbox back then. And we have elixirs, we have reroll feathers, we have reroll feathers, and we just get a bunch of free artifacts from Stygian Onslaught. I think my standard is better. It's more representative, and it's also better because if you want to do Stygian nowadays, like my standard is simply more useful towards like your purposes, like what you can actually do with it. You're looking at calcs for recommendations, right? So why would you look at calcs done under a standard that is not helpful to you beating the thing you actually want to beat with your account? So that's the main reason why I do what I do with my artifact standards. And after that, talent levels 10 to 10 always. It's not saying you should crown every single thing on your account. It's just a standard. If you have a character that you like and their thing actually does something, you should crown them, please. It's 2025. We all know that crowns are unlimited. They're free. Please do that. Yeah, so that's that. And then we have an equalization of cost, or I guess we decided on weight. There's a new system that I want to add. It's called the weight system.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah,
So
wait.
weight as in kilograms. Weight as in kilograms. So yeah, there's a cost system that speedrunners like to use. It's kind of based on that, except that's not really that good of a system in my opinion.
I agree.
does-
Cost sucks.
Yeah, so what this does is it serves to equalize different options for a team that you could choose from, as well as, I guess, if you want a PvP between different characters, give them an actual actual equal grounds in terms of the level of investment, in terms of pulls on their teams. So the weight system takes inspiration from the cost system, as in, well, every single limited 5-star pull, or whether that's a character or a weapon, is 1 weight. However, we're also giving 4 stars weight, because why the fuck wouldn't we? Nowadays, 4 stars can only be pulled, or most of them anyway, on banner when they're on banner, the exact same way you would with a 5-star, because there are 50 plus 4 stars characters, and that combined with 4-star weapons, you will never get a 4-star in any other random banner that you want, because that's just not possible. You can only pull for a 4-star when they are on banner, the exact same way you would with a 5-star. So what I decided was a C0 4-star is 0 weight, because, well, we need to start somewhere, even though you could argue that you can't even get a C0 4-star sometimes. But I'm just gonna make them C0 0 weight, because that's just easier. And for each constellation, by default, we're adding 0.5 weight. And then you'd realize, wait a second, does that mean a C6 4-star is 3 times the cost of a C0 5-star?
Mhm.
Yes, because that's what it is if you're just starting from scratch and pulling for that 4-star. However, in practice, there's a lot of ways to reduce the weight on the 4-star when the situation is fit. So first of all, for a 4-star that is that there's any guaranteed free way to get them, let's say Xiangling, let's say your Aino, you get 1 copy for free. So that is obviously added to the 0 cost or the 0 weight for free. So yeah, for 0 weight, your Aino is C1, your Xiangling, well, your Xiangling has more, but we'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, your Aino gets the free constellation. Same goes for Lynette. And for characters that are on Lantern Rite, we count up to 2 years. So, or 2 Lantern Rites. Because, like, this is an arbitrary decision, but in my opinion, it is, like, the best that we can do. Because, yeah, you can get 2 copies in 2 years from Lantern Rite of a 4 stars on Lantern Rite. And the exact same is for the Star Glitter shop. So, if you are a little bit quick in your head, you can think, wait a minute, you can get 4 from the Star Glitter shop in 2 years, and you can get 2 from Lantern Rite. So for the characters that are on both Lantern Rite and in the Star Glitter shop, you can get C6. So yeah, rejoice, Hyperbloom Bat Chesters. C6 Xingqiu is C6 for 0 weight in my standard. Yeah. Yeah, not that it really matters nowadays, but that's just the way I've decided to do it. That's one way of reducing the weight for 4 stars. And there's another way. Essentially 4-star and 5-star banner mates. If a 4-star is tied to a 5-star on banner, examples of which being Farazan for Wander, presumably Yansan for Varesa, and Sara for Raiden. For any given calc, each copy of that 5-star reduces the weight of the 4-star by 1. So this means for a C0 Varesa, like Yansan is not C0 by default. She is C2 by default, because that's just how it works. And if it were a C1 Varesa, the Yansan would get to be C4 at 0 weight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I was talking about the weapons earlier. 5 stars are 1 weight, obviously. Battle Pass weapons at R1, I'm not a free-to-play purist, so that's also counted as 0 weight. R5 is the same as a 5-star weapon, and the same goes for the limited weapon banner 4-star weapons. And standards. Standard characters are 0 weight up to C2, because you can get 1 for free from the anniversary, you can get another 1 for free from the Temper Thyself event, and you can get another 1 for free in the next anniversary, and I count up to 2 years. So any standard 5-star is 0 weight up to C2. I think that's just the most fair way we could do it. And after that, each one of their constellations is also 0.
Wouldn't it be up to C3?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no.
Why would it be?
No, I forgot.
Oh yeah.
I'm done.
The standard 5 stars are not given the free C0 as the 4 stars.
Yeah.
So let's give some examples for this. So let's say, what I've decided is, my quote unquote equivalent with the cons or the calcs that all of you guys do, the default KQMS fucking GC Sim standard, which is C0 R0 5 stars, C6 4 stars, and without really regarding for like if the 4-star has ever been on banner with a 5-star or this and that, my equivalent is a 3 weight team to a quote unquote C0 R0 team is 3 weight. So what would that look like for a character like Skirk? The 3 weight team would be Skirk C0, it would be Escoffier C0, and it would either be, I think R1 is better, right? So it would be Skirk R1 with Mona C2 and Xingqiu C6.
Oh, yeah.
Are you serious, man?
Bro, no.
Net fell off unlucky.
Oh, that is so annoying.
Just join when he has it stable. There's no point. Like, don't force it.
Well, what do we do now? Do we wait for him to rejoin?
Dude, I think Constellation 1 versus R1 when it comes to like evaluating characters sometimes. Because from experience, people makes constellations look like I don't know, a
Witchcraft.
fucking disaster. They make it sound. Well, they make it sound like a sin.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, no,
witchcraft.
exactly.
Just committed a crime.
Yeah. Like this is the big problem. Like the double standard. People just seem to naturally like C6 4-stars and see it as not taboo. And even like R1 weapons, they're not taboo. But as soon as you pull out a C1 5-star, people lose their shits for no fucking reason.
I think I mentioned. I think I mentioned in the group chat before, but I think the reason why people think that 5-star weapons or signature weapons are fine is because it completes. I'm doing air quotes, you can't see, but completes the character. And so they think, well, if it's a part of the character's like base form, why not just have it be okay? But like
What?
C1, that's an extra thing. You shouldn't count that.
That is such
Right.
flawed
It's
logic.
dumb. It's dumb. It's very dumb logic. But I'm 90% sure that's the reason why people think the way they do.
If that's the case, then
weapons
you
versus
should
guns.
just play, like, doesn't that mean you should just play solo to, like, fulfill the character and not add anything additionally? Just play solos, C0, R1.
Yeah.
True.
Let me answer a question. If your artifact standard is focused on long-term players, Stygian Onslaught clear, then why 4-star cost is for newer players? No, I mean, like the thing is, it's not about like differentiating newer players or older players. It's about like actually making the different things equal. Because if you're gonna argue that 4-stars, yeah, you can get C6 over time as a long-term player, which you absolutely should be able to, by the way. I'm not saying that's wrong. But you could do the exact same with 5-stars. Like we have a dude here that saved for C6 Sino. You could do that.
I got C2. I got C6 Yoimiya over the course of 2 years. So
Yeah,
I mean,
we have a C6 Sino saver. We have a C6 Yoimiya saver.
like
I'm
you
not-
can say, oh, I can assume C6 Yoimiya, but like that's not really fair
I'm-
because that's
Yeah, like you absolutely like if you have a C6 4-star, you should absolutely use it. Yeah, like, and you know, long term, if it's really good for your team, let's say like C6 Yansan or C6, argue that C6 4-stars doesn't cost a single 5-star, then you would be fucking wrong. Like that's just not true. You can't. It's been like this for like more than 2 or 3 years now. You can't just get a 4-star randomly on banner that doesn't have them rated up anymore. You
Okay.
have to pull for a 4-star.
I personally, I actually got my C6, which was extremely lucky, and I don't expect anyone to happen this to happen on standard banner. I got it on standard banner. I didn't even get it on a banner.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
The thing is, I was gonna say to assume like a C6 4-star doesn't cost 5-stars would assume that's you'd have to give a person quite a bit of time to just pull. You have to get lucky and also pull only a little bit, because the more often you pull on banners to try and get a 4-star, you're going to end up getting a 5-star. It's just like it's the luck, especially as the pool increases over time. As the game gets is up for longer and longer, we'll get more and more 4-stars enter the pool, making it harder to get a 4-star without getting another 5-star, especially because it's just it's kind of hard. The amount of times I've gone for 4-stars, I've always end up getting a 5-star at some point. Notoriously, I got 5-stars before getting a single con of Cheverus. And that's across 3 different banners. So,
okay.
Shit happens, man.
Look at this. If you pull on 3-4 different banners without getting 5-star, you aren't. The early 5-stars are unlikely. I mean, yes, that's true. but you're still pulling, like, with you don't need to get a 5. Like, you're still using. Okay, first of all, let's just address this. Building pity is a little bit. It's fine. It's fine if it's just like, if you know what you're getting yourself into. And I'm not saying like never do it, because sometimes, like, let's say if you're a Wanderer player and then you just see Farazan randomly on banner, yeah, you're putting everything down to pull for the Farazan. Doesn't matter what you get, right? Because that's just what you do. But most of the time, I'm not sure how advisable that is. And another point is, even if you don't accidentally get the 5-star early, you're still using pulls.
True.
And eventually you're going to get to pity, and you're going to have to, like, I get what you mean, but I don't think that's, I don't think that's justification enough. But pity goes to the next 5-star you want. Yes, you could do that. But then inevitably you're gonna come to a situation where, well, shit, there's 2 banners that you don't really care about, but there's 2 different 4-stars that you care about. What are you gonna do with that? You only have like maximum, I think 74 before it goes to soft pity.
Yes.
74 pulls of wiggle room for you to fuck around and find out with. And eventually you're gonna get to pity. Plan things out, yes, you should do that. But I am not putting that as a reason to assume higher cons on 4-stars in my standard. Because
I think
you,
I do want to I just want to say this too. Like, for the sake of like getting a C6 4-star over time, you can't assume that can't happen to people. But for the sake of weighing it for a system of cost, you have to understand they take pulls. And to an extent, there are times you're going to end up getting a 5-star because you're constantly pulling. I think you have to value it some way. Saying that a C6 4-star, because it's a standard, right? So you can't just say C6. Maybe, I guess maybe you could ship in, say, a 4-star that's maybe, I don't know, 5 years old, like, say, like 1.04. So you can assume C6 to some extent without cost, like the Tingcho, for example, because there's multiple ways of getting them. But for especially if we're standardizing across all 4-stars, it's kind of hard to do that. That's the problem.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, I think the weighting is very important. Also, I do assume C6 Xingqiu and like C6 jungling in my standard, because there's so many free ways to get them. But I guess this is one thing I'm not too set on. For other 1.0 characters, let's say Bennett, he's only on Star Glitter, he's not in Lantern Right, but he is literally a 1.0 character.
I will also say Bennett is also the 4-star who's been on banners the most, still to this day. He has the most consecutive banners. So
right now my standard is have him at C4, because from the Star Glitter things, I'm a little bit tempted to assume the 4.0 characters or the 1.0 characters are C6, because like they're literally on banners, they've been on banners so much, and they're already C4 by default, right? So it's not preposterous to say they're C6, but I'm not too sure. What do you think?
Well, I mean, isn't your standard the last like past 2 years?
Yeah. So from what was I saying? Wait, my mind's getting jumbled. Shit. Yeah, right. From Star Glitter, that's C4. So I was saying, do we give 1.0 characters special treatment outside of my standard? Just say, fuck it, we're gonna make them C6.
Yes.
No.
I would say to a certain extent it's I would say to a certain extent it's pretty fair. Whether or not you get older character C6, even after like several years of playing, kind of depends on who you pull for. Like, I got C6 Xingqiu on my free to play account within, I think, 5 months of playing. That's because he had me on the banner I was pulling on. It took me 2.5 years to get official C6. So like, It's very dependent, so it's hard to weight it. But I think generally speaking, like just from what I've seen, having seen a lot of accounts, most people have their early like with the 1.0 1.x 4 stars, either at C6 or C5 plus or C4 plus. I mean, so I think to an extent, you can assume to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think like the way I'm thinking about this, I'm looking, in. I care about people who, I guess, will end up playing for a long time and are down to optimize. Not necessarily started playing since a long time ago.
That's fair, I guess.
Oh, true, yeah. I wanted to say something that came up like a few minutes ago. Like someone said that the chance Alexa, stop. Sorry. Sorry. Ignore that.
At the Alexa.
That's funny.
Anyway, so someone said the chance to get an early 5-star pre-75 pity is 42%, but it's actually 35%. That's all I wanted to say. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I didn't know it was 35%.
Is it really that high? Is it just across all those different pulls you do?
Yeah, all
from
those
0 to
different
74?
pulls combined,
35%.
basically.
That's
quite
staggeringly high to me.
Yeah. Okay. To be fair,
very
you won't. Honestly, you won't notice like 70 doesn't feel like an early, or like 60 maybe. 65 doesn't feel like an
It
early.
doesn't feel like it, but I always call it. People don't call it, but if I get a 5-star at 60, I'm saying that's a fucking early. It's before soft pity. Like the chances of that happening on that individual pool is still, even if it's 73 pity, it's still 0.6%. It's very low. So in my eyes, it's an early. Yeah.
In a quick TLDR, when it comes to pulling for 4-stars specifically, you can just say, it sounds like a good idea until the wish turns gold.
Yeah. My experience of trying to pull, I've have like PTSD of every time I tried to pull 4-star cons, I got an early 5-star. Literally recently, I tried on my free to play account. I tried. It's like, you know what? I'm at 5 pity. I would like to have a C1 Ino for Nefer, and that'd be nice.
No.
So I did 110 pull, and I fucking got a gold, and I was like,
Okay,
fuck.
okay.
I got a Dea, and I was happy, but like, dude,
I had
it happens, man.
I had the same thing happening, but it wasn't on my account, and it felt even worse because I was telling someone that technically if they would want to risk it, and they were at 0 pity, no 50-50 guaranteed. I was like, technically, C1 I know is nice, but should you risk it? I don't know, that's up to you. But then they risked it and they got flints on like 2 points.
And I just want to point out, Friend says I know. I know, by the way, but there was a thing that happened with Friends recently, where he ended up pulling on this recent banner for no fucking reason. He's told me no reason. I guess maybe to get an InoCon, I don't know. And he got an early 5-star with a capturing radiance, and it was Flynn's with no NF on the account. So he got a Flynn's with no reason to build. Well, also with loss of capturing radiance as well. It was a very poor loss. But
that is unfortunate.
So TLDR.
Shit happens.
Don't build pity.
Yeah, there's no perfect way to, like Friend said, there's no perfect way to go about it. It's just what I think what I'm doing is as fair as it can get. Like, I'm rewarding 4-stars for being like tied to a 5-star. I'm rewarding, I guess, 5-stars over 4-stars in general, because you actually can get them guaranteed. And just free ways of getting things.
Something I really like about this in terms of like agenda, I guess, is that like this benefits Flynn's in like early stuff more, because Flynn's is on, like, Ino was on Flynn's banner, so he gets.
This is also a different because I'm looking at it through the lens of a more, how do I say this? Like, this is for the lens of a more intelligent player who's down to plan. The fact that Inefa, like the thing that Hoyo has been doing in the past like 3 DPS characters, the fact that Flynn's is tied to Inefa, Skirk to Escoffier, and Nefer to Lauma actually kind of becomes a good thing if you're looking at it through the lens of I'm actually saving for this team, because Inefa, or like let's just use Lauma as an example. She's one pull that makes a massive leap on Nefer's team, because if you knew beforehand you wanted to play Nefer, you were saving for Nefer stuff. So having just one thing you pull being something as impactful as Llama is actually a good thing. If you are going in assuming you will get it because you planned beforehand.
Yeah, that is something I really dislike about Veressa agenda, because I keep seeing on my Twitter, what's it called, like for you, like people saying, "Oh, Veressa is the only one that is not essentially dog shit without this character." But Jansan C6 is like such a deal breaker.
C6 Everest
No,
too.
it's not. Wait, what? Janssen C6 is like.
No, like her
It's weaker than
constellations.
Chef C6.
Let me speak. Okay, I mean, like in total, Jansan from C0 to C6 gets a big bump, and then Chevy C6 is also very big.
Yeah, they're both very big.
And she is tied to those two. Like unless
the problem is that people act like they're nothing. Like, oh yeah, they just assume either they're just assuming C6 or they think that C0 is just the same or something, or it's close to the same, and it's not.
Exactly.
It's the same as having a dedicated 5-star support. People don't acknowledge that. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. Actually,
you would not clear Diary if your Janssen wasn't C6, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I was saying, actually, like, Veressa isn't, like, the worst offender of this, because, at least Janssen's on her banner, right? So...
Yeah.
Both Janssen and Chev are on her banner.
Yeah.
Chev is most likely never going to be on banner with her again, let's be honest. But, yeah.
You don't know that?
Wait, well, like... Yeah, technically, but it would be very unprecedented to have both Chevers and... to have like 2 characters tied to 1 5-star.
Didn't Raiden have both Chev and Sora on her banners?
Yeah.
That wasn't that happened, yeah.
She's the only example.
Oh my gosh,
wasn't that Chevers' release too? I think.
Yes.
And then Raiden had rerun.
I remember because that was the banner I lost my 50-50 going for C4. Yeah, that's why I remember that.
It's so fucking bad.
Yeah,
in sense for like Kinich, because the Kinich banners were both with Raiden, so you had to deal with Sarah and Chef as your 4 stars.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no. It's unfortunate. But yeah, so if you go by this standard, this like the quote unquote 3-weight team for Veressa is actually quite interesting, because Janssen's always on banner with her. So the best way to build a Veressa team is to literally get her C2. You do Veressa C1, and Veressa C2. So the team ends up... So, which I think is fair, instead of like... So what would the team be? It would be like C2 Veressa, C2 R0 Veressa. Her C2 is really good. Her C1's not good, but C2 is good, so it's fine.
Just do Chev Bennett Janssen, right?
Exactly. So it's C2 R0 Veressa, C6 Janssen, C0 Chev, but that's good enough because it's basically the same as C5, and I guess C4 Bennett. That's the equivalent to the C0 R0 Veressa with C6 Janssen, C6 Chevres, and Mavuika that you see on Twitter. That shit's, in my opinion, it's like that is not actually cheaper. Like, that's straight up more expensive than the C2 Veressa team for basically all future Veressa pullers. So to me, like, the teams that you arrive at the standard that I've provided are not only more efficient, stronger, they're just like the better recommendation to people, which is like the whole point of Calcs to begin with, which is why I like it.
And it's one of the reasons why, for most characters, I recommend getting cons over signatures, specifically because of the 4-star lineups in themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
For most situations, and even just for like the current F2P situations of like a singular patch not even being enough for a full PD. Like that shit sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
So I just often recommend pulling cons, because like if you lose, you get that guaranteed to another character you like, or
Yeah.
you just keep pulling and maybe you can win at some point, like getting a 5
Yeah.
star at 30. So you just keep getting that. And another point is technically cons are cheaper than weapons, specifically because of odds accumulated.
Wait,
On
Nikki,
top
you
of
can't.
that, on top of that, like what's the thing is like radiance or some shit. The radiance increases the odds of like cons and just 5 star in general overall.
True.
And the weapon banner is still like turbo dog shit
Yeah,
compared to every
the
other
weapon
shit
banner,
in my team.
the weapon banner is so bad compared to, okay, not to gacha PvP, but Genshin's weapon banner is truly something compared to HSRs and
Yeah.
Withering Waves.
If it were just
I lost my 70 to 25 on ZZZ. Fuck that game.
Unlucky, bro. So essentially, the odds in Genshin compared to the other three like quote unquote mainstream like gachas that I see overall, which is HSR, ZZZ, and WoA, it is turbo dog shit compared to those. It doesn't even compare. And sometimes it depends on the banners that they come out. Like if they come with two weapons that your roster currently can benefit from it, like you want a Vareza and you want to pull like Nefer Sig and Vareza runs with her at some point, you can just go for the R1, and R1 is a big increase for both.
Yes, absolutely.
So but when it comes to C1 versus R1, which I tried to say for like an hour at least, I would only recommend signature in an average standpoint if the signature is at least 10% better than pulling like C1 or whatever 4 star the character is tied to, like their cons. At least. They'd have to be at least 10 or 20% better depending on the situation. For me to recommend signature over cons.
Yeah, but like you said, so sometimes if both weapons are good, then instantly the value of that thing goes up.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Wait, I was gonna say something regarding 4-star cost or 4-star weight. Sorry, the main like benefactors of or not benefactors, beneficiaries of getting the weight reduction. Weight reduction. That sounds kind of funny. Weight reduction are the 4-stars that are tied with the 5-star. So like Yansan, like your Farzan, but also from a video or like literally a guide perspective, the same also applies to the current banner and the confirmed upcoming banners. So if we're talking about Flynn's right now, we're gonna assume with a C0 Flynn's, you're gonna get 2 copies of Ino. Because that's not the case anymore as soon as this banner is over, and we're talking about future reruns and like updated stuff on that. But at this moment, like for example, upcoming for Nefer doesn't have 4-stars on her banner, I don't think. But so yeah, like for Flynn's, we in the calcs, up to and during Flynn's banners, if we're talking about Flynn's, we will assume the current banner 4-stars also receive the benefits of the characters that are tied in the future, because that obviously makes sense. So yeah, back in the day when like Varesa's first banner came out, yes, you would absolutely say both Chevers and Yansan benefit from this weight reduction system, but probably not for Chevers in the future though, because there's no reason to believe that she is tied to Varesa, but whereas Yansan most likely is, for just logical reasons, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I only had this tantrum over C1 versus R1 because I know one specific guy that pulls every single character C0 R1. And this includes Furina, by the way. This includes Furina.
Yeah.
Like I know I didn't know him when Furina released, but
Wait, who is it?
I searched. It's not a content creator, but I can tell you when this is over.
Oh, okay, sure.
So They essentially just pull C0R1 every time, and they have a full agenda over it. And they told him when it comes to Furina, they told him just get the C1. It's the same cost overall, and you get a way bigger increase overall. And he said,
Exactly.
no, I'm gonna get C0R1 no matter what. Like, he
Yeah.
went so
Based.
full into the agenda, he intentionally fucked himself.
Yeah.
So
Like this is
he took a
literally.
full tantrum.
Yeah. What's the word? It's like just fucking. Yeah,
Like,
like it's just like people are used to this, and that you, no matter how wrong it is, like this is fucking human nature. No matter how wrong it is, people just like to stick with it because they're used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Like, like there's no reason to like change, like if it ain't broke. But if it's broke, you better change it. Yeah.
yeah.
So
And, the,
like.
and I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah.
The thing about R1s is, like, I think that they prioritize them more so. When it comes to R1s, you gotta see in a perspective of multitude of players, like casuals, end gamers, speedrunners, and sometimes, no matter what your category of player you are, the R1 will be prioritized purely because of aesthetics.
Okay, to be fair, if you're speaking strictly from aesthetics, then I can kind of excuse that because like you're making a non-optimal decision, but you're
Yeah.
doing it anyway because it looks cool. But I think without that, you're just defaulting to it. That's not good.
The real ones clear Dire and use the weapon skins true. For drip.
Yeah. Well, also, yeah, you could use the weapon skins, bro. If you were listening to my advice, you would have them.
I see.
Flip, do you have anything to say? You haven't
Yeah.
really like if this is all against you basically. You're in the court.
no,
we're
let's
courting
not
you
say
right now.
against.
I don't have like any allegiance to KQMS or anything. This is just the
Okay.
standard I use.
Yeah, okay, Flip. And I think I've presented enough arguments and enough examples of my own as to why my standard is just better. And if you want to be the best content creator that you can, to help the most people reach their goals, it's the better way. So, what would it take for you to
Switch.
so like basically see the light and adopt the better system?
Money.
What do we need to do for you?
Money. Give him money. Bribe him.
We're not giving him money. He gets like 200 euros per stream, 200 bucks per stream, I mean.
Okay.
How hard would it be instead of calcing C0 R0 Veresa, C6 Yansan, C6 Travelers, and Mavwika, you instead just calc, the actual more recommended team of C2 R0 Veresa, or actually you could do like my C3 like the 3-weight thing is just like my default, right? It doesn't have to be 3-weight all the time. If you want to talk in context of a more like F2P friendly team, it could always be 2-weight or even just fucking 1-weight. We should okay, 1-weight. We're bringing up 1-weight. Oh my god, I want someone to do like a 1-weight cost of every character, so people stop batchesting like solo or pseudo solo Nuvulette with all of his passives activated and nothing else. And we see that fucking Skirk is better. Skirk with all of her passives active and no other support is better. Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah. If you don't want to do just 3-weight all the time, you can also do 2. You can do 1. You could do 4. You can do like up to like 6 even if you want to talk about like a little bit more vertical. And that also gives you like a perfect segue, like a perfect reason to talk about which way to vertical is better. Like for example, some characters they just don't have. Like let's say Sino. Fucking Sino doesn't have cons. You would just say we're pulling cons on Lauma or something, or I don't know what actually is. What?
Just go cons on Inefa.
Oh yeah, cons on Inefa. Like, what would it take for you to adopt this? Because I'm pretty sure any rational person would agree that it's better. We could do tweaks to it if there's like little bits like you think isn't like super optimal. We can always do that. But I think the fundamental idea behind it, it has to be better than what is being used right now
This is why
by a massive margin.
The thing is, right, with KQMS, not everyone uses it though.
Yeah,
So
Actually-
but like,
a lot of people do use my calculations. A lot of people do like use my calculations, right? So my main with the a lot of people like also comparing TC calculation. My problem
Which is
is
not a
that
good
I
thing to
don't
do.
want someone to like look at my calc and look at someone like Pratzel's calc or Harami's calc, and then they're like, looking, well, this person is more accurate because they use this standard or something like that. And I feel like it might just cause more confusion.
Okay, but people will
Exactly,
do that
that's the
anyway.
thing. Like, that's the thing, yeah. So
compare
what was I
calcs.
gonna say is, even if you're using KQMS, just having different assumptions on combos, on rotation times, even like it's a massive difference anyway. Like people who compare different calcs between different TCs with no standard, with like no like regard for the standard, like they don't like, they're wrong anyway,
Yeah.
right? So
Indeed.
like, why not just do a better one? Just you just go around like, and then people say like people see flips calcs and they
You
know
need
okay, yeah,
to-
this is like
Yeah,
a
and
a lot of people. I don't know how like, well, we're gonna glaze you a little bit, okay? A lot of people look at flips calcs, like probably more than anyone other than like fucking Zajeff or TGS.
TGS.
yes.
So, and if you make this switch and like you you should probably explain why. And I think we have ample reason for why. It's like, why are you afraid of people like that are, you know, less big than you being wrong when you can just like, you know, be right?
True.
I think
Yeah,
to play devil's
Okay,
advocate.
okay, wait. Another thing, and another thing is that
Yeah.
I would have to redo every single calculation on my Google document, and I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for that.
Okay, here's
Well,
the
I mean-
thing. Since I already assume crowned values, for me it's very easy. Just change the subs. Like it's 2 seconds. But for you, since you assume talent level 9, you will have it more difficult.
Yeah, fucking talent level 9.
Okay,
Like-
you can.
Like flip. Every time a team gets an upscale, you're gonna have to do that anyway. You don't have to do it all in one go. It's just like for, like, let's say from now on, every new thing you do, or like every update that comes, you just do that.
I have a massive argument. Don't we all want to destroy Novilette's glazes? Like that would be such a big, because like such a big portion is like Lauma's doing, which doesn't scale with artifact investment.
Here's the thing.
So
Also, like, this would help. This would massively help Nivulette players. Like people who don't bat chest Nivulette, like fucking stupid things. Like people that actually want to play Nivulette because like they like him in lore or something. Like the way we do it, it would just be what? Nivulette, Farina, probably C1 on Nivulette. And then no, actually you probably wouldn't be able to do that at 3 weight. It would just be Nivulette, Farina, Inefa, and like a free Sucrose or something. I think. And then that's just the baseline. That's a way more healthy. Like if people see this, like that's a way more healthy. And then like when we talk about for Nivulette, inevitably you're gonna have to talk about higher weight, right? So like we would not get Lauma to replace fucking like Sucrose. Instead, we would get C1 on Nivulette, and that's just a much better team. And I think people that actually play Nivulette would benefit a ton from this, because the 4 5-star premium Hyperbloom bullshit, or like when God forbid when fucking During comes out, it gets even worse. Like that's just if people have been pulling like say Shilinen, and then what's after that? Like Shilinen, Escoffier, Inefa, Lauma, Durin, you're playing like essentially the cost of a C6 Neuvillette team for a piece of dog trash. So if you just start by going, okay, so the baseline team is Neuvillette, Inefa, Farina, and like Sucrose or something as the 3-weight baseline team. Done. And then, okay, well, we're going to show a little bit more investment into it. Let's say at 6-weight, we're going to add Neuvillette C1. We can add we can add Neuvillette C1. We can get Neuvillette R1. And I think can you get C2 Farina? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, you can't. But yeah, like just don't get Farina's signature. That's not the default. If you want to vertical into a little bit, you would just get C1 R1 Neuvillette, and I think you can get either Shilinen or Kazuha or something to replace the Sucrose. That's a way more healthy. That's a way more healthy recommendation that even Neuvillette players could get than just pull. We're locked at C0 R0, but we have C6 4-stars. And next time Durin comes out, we're gonna get Durin. Next time Nicole comes out for a 1% DPS increase and a 20% 20% personal damage reduction on Neuvillette, we're gonna get her. Like that's horrible, in my opinion, anyway. So, like that's a big reason why I think the way I do things is just better in terms of recommendations. I don't care about like what you do with like sheet PvP. It's a little bit it's kind of, I think the way I do it balances that out too. But the most important thing is just as a recommendation, like as a guide, like what you should do to actually improve the team you like playing to get it to the level you want it to.
You know
So
what?
yeah, like that's my.
I'm gonna note this down. And my first ever like non-gameplay video is probably gonna be about Novelette. I wanna dunk on the whole fucking thing that every single support is an upgrade. No, it isn't.
Yeah,
Stop it.
like that's a big thing. Like Neuvillettes upgrades are Farina, and like I don't know if Inefa or Shilinen is better at higher cost, higher weight.
Here's the thing. Shilonen
Yeah.
over Kaz was like barely a difference until you assume cons where Shilonen C2 overhauls his
Yeah.
ass completely.
Yeah,
But when it comes to higher cost Novelette teams, you just dump Inefa for a buffer.
Yeah. But like, the idea is you still want a team where Neuvillette does damage, not a random fucking bullshit wheelchair team that costs, in reality, like fucking twice as much as just the team that gets him to do damage, because you're pulling a random new wheelchair character every patch.
Souls who pulled Escoffier for Neuvillette. Like, imagine you had like Neuvillette, Farina, Gilonen, and Kazuha, and someone told you to pull Escoffier because it's an upgrade, but it would just be better to save, like for Neuvillette C1 or R1 or something.
Exactly. So you could say that you're actively harming players by sticking with KQMS and this whole fucking GC Sim bullshit standard.
Okay, we actually
part about this for Nuve is the fact that it also bricks his C1 because you don't get the third spectrum as well.
Yeah, I think that is also ass. Regarding chat, we actually didn't technically slander Neuvillette. Like I just said that I just slandered Neuvillette glazers. Like those type of there are some actual Neuvillette players that are normal about him, but there are some that are not.
So, the funny thing is, I always say, basically, the ones that know the burst, the charge attack cancel versus the ones that don't. The ones that do are never Neuvillette glazers.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And about the Novelette question, when it comes to abolish them, it's a yes and no answer because it really depends on who it is. Like if it's someone that knows what they're doing, no. Let them glaze Novelette, I don't give a shit. They know what they're doing, they know their limits. But when it's someone that just looks at the sheet, doesn't know anything, looks at memes on Twitter like, oh, Novelet getting all of this and another character getting fucking nothing, and be like, oh, Novelet must be better than he has many more options. And be like, yeah, abolish those people. Literally kill them on the spot.
Yo.
What the fuck?
Yo, that's a
Okay.
bit. that was a bit extremist. Kill in game. Let's not be too extremist about this. It's a video game, man.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. So I guess I'll end off by giving a couple more example teams of different characters under, I guess, different weights at my standard. So yeah, for I think I already talked about Skirk, but yeah, Skirk would be like at 3 weight, it would be C0R1 Skirk, C0R0 Escoffier, Xingqiu, and Mona. At, let's say you want to go up a little bit more, I guess it would be a 6 weight team. For like 6 weight is essentially what I have. Like this is arbitrary, by the way. It doesn't have to be 3 and 6. Everybody could adjust to what they're talking about in a specific context. But the way I'm looking at it, the defaults are 3 and 6. 3 for just like the baseline. That is the same as the current C0R0 bullshit. And 6 is like basically a longer term goal. So 6 weight for Skirk would be, well, I guess it would still be C0R1, huh? Or maybe C2R1? I guess, so you could do, let's count. If you do C0, so currently it's C0R1, C0R0 Escoffier. I guess you'd probably want Farina, that's one more over Xingqiu. You definitely don't want Shenhe over Mona. Mona is just good enough. That's 4. And then you have 2 more. Yeah, exactly, 2 more, and then it would be C2R1 on Skirk. So it would be C2R1 Skirk, C0R0 Escoffier, C0R0 Farina, and C2 TDDS Mona, which is exactly what I would recommend people get long term for Skirk. That's kind of worked out perfectly. Yeah? Does that sound right? Does that sound
sounds right. Do you have another? What's Mavrika?
Mavrika, so at 3, okay, Mavrika's a little bit of a special case for 3. That's 3 weight. Obviously, you're going Mavrika, Seitlali, Bennett. There's 2 ways to go about this. You could be a sheet chester and go Sucrose plus R1. That is 1000% better than going for Shilinin. But I have this belief that essentially Shilinin gets an extra rotation, or at least like an extra half rotation in practice than anything else. So I might just do C0 Mavrika, C0 Shilinin, and C0 Seitlali plus Bennett as the 3 weight team. That is not the best way to sheet. That's like nowhere close to the best sheeting option. But in my opinion, that might be the default I go with. Or I could just go Sucrose R1. That's also, I think, reasonable. And at 6, it would be 6 is actually kind of hard because you can't get both C2 Mavrika. Actually, you can. You could get both. You could get both C2 Mavrika and C2 Seitlali if you don't get the signature weapon. But I have another rule, which is you can't unpull something you already pulled, because that just doesn't work. So if you got this Sig, I guess it would just be C2 Mavrika.
I actually unpulled Ito yesterday. It was a great memory.
Yeah. So I guess I would do C2 R1 Mavrika, C0 R0 Seitlali, Bennett, and that's still Sucrose. That's 5. I can have one more. But C1 Seitlali feels so weird. You know what? For in practice sake, we drop the Sucrose for C0 Shilinin. I'm okay with that. I don't know. Like that seems. I guess Shilinin. I think Shilinin for Mavrika is enough of a special case that I'm willing to say, instead of anything else, like it's probably worth pulling dropping 1 wish on her, like one weight on her.
Yeah, I think so too. I value Shilinin and Stygian a lot.
Yeah. But if we're doing that, then we're also not doing Sucrose R1. for 3-weight, I would just do Mavika, Shilon, and Sitlali Bennett. And then she would cheat worse than both Nefer and fucking Skirk. I don't know how I feel about that. but yeah.
Oh, speaking.
Honestly, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have to like I said, there's gonna be adjustments made over time to this when I like eventually like settle on something I'm perfectly happy with. But like the idea is already going strong, I think. Saga, what were you gonna say?
I didn't really want to interrupt your like examples, but I also want to ask like Flip how the Nefer versus Skirk. I'm interested in Nefer versus Skirk. What do the new sheets say?
Did you not see my tweet?
I checked it when you said it's better, but I don't have the sheets yet, and then I'm waiting.
Well, why did I say she? I mean infographic. But you didn't what?
I closed Twitter when you were right about to release it. Wait, let's see the agenda calc.
Okay, hold on.
Butterfer's third law of gacha: an object that has been pulled cannot be unpulled. Yeah, like that's kind of the thing. You
Calcs.
like if you pulled Escoffier
An
for
object that can.
yeah, like if you pulled Escoffier for Neuvillette, getting Nefa is an extra cost, bro. It's not
Yeah.
like it's not a 4-weight team still. It's a 5-weight team because you have an Escoffier rotting on a bench. Like that's one thing I think I'll take into consideration as well, because that's how real teams in game work. Like it's yeah.
I'm scared to
Wait,
open.
there's my calc, by the way, Saga.
Wait, where?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I
Like
sent it in
the dash
official.
cancels, the dash cancels, and potentially making her burst not feel like a complete loss is a massive.
Take a look
Yeah.
at this. Take a look at this. Nefer, Lauma, Nahida, Ino C6, motherfucker. Skirk.
It's Inoc. Okay, I'm not buying that.
It's minus 10. It's at the bottom. It's minus 10k DPS if you don't
Yeah.
if it's either I know.
So TLDR, they should be pretty close, right?
TLDR Skirk is basically still better.
So okay, what would it be at my standard? It would be probably C0 R1 or C1 R0 Nefer. C0 R0 Llama.
Yeah.
You're free I know. Free I know C1 actually. And fucking Shinobu. C0 Shinobu at the end. That works. And
Yeah,
Skirk.
that works.
Yeah.
Oh,
like that would yeah.
There's. I did do a Shinobu team.
You did do a Shinobu team. Yeah, I think I saw. So yeah, like the idea is that's what it would be with my weight system.
Okay.
And
It
Skirk would
wouldn't
be
too far behind. From
it
what
would be
I
close.
have.
Like Skirk and Nefer, like if you look at it in reality, yeah, I mean Skirk, she only has one good slot. The other two you could just do Singtero Mona and that's essentially free. Like Singtero cons don't even matter that much because he doesn't the application doesn't matter. You can build more ER because he doesn't do that much damage anyway. So
Yeah.
like Skirk is very free to play friendly in reality if you're going into it knowing you want Skirk because you just need Escoffier. That's it. Same goes for Nefer.
Wait, you haven't switched
we all know.
your sheets to Escoffier on scroll.
Oh, scroll. Yeah, no, I haven't.
Oh yeah. It's better.
I need to read. Yeah, I need to read you Skirk, and I need to do the Malvika double cryo thing. Butterfer is asking me to do.
And
Yeah.
if
I mean,
you-
like to be fair, the Mavika double cryo thing doesn't fit under 3-weight anymore because you're using. Actually, no, it does. You would just use Rosaria instead of Escoffier.
Speaking
it.
of which, if you do those calcs, maybe you consider using Butterfer standards.
Yeah, like I for all of you, with a raise of hand or just I guess a vocal vote, would you say what I proposed is good,
Yes.
is worth doing? Yes.
Indeed.
66%
Yep.
of chat says yes. I made a poll.
The part is that how like I do calc on both standards just to get the perspective on how much vertical stands on them. And some units has it way fucking better when it comes to that.
C6 Candace over Xingqiu for Skirk? No, for two reasons. C6 Candace is very expensive compared to C6 Xingqiu. And also, I don't think she's better because her buff isn't big enough.
No, sad.
Yeah. And also,
So, okay.
Hydro, I guess Mona applies a little bit of Hydro, but like Candace. No, it's enough. Candace C6 is enough Hydro, but I'm just gonna assume Xingqiu.
Okay, Kinkle, what do you think about? Do you see Butterfer's vision? Kinkle?
Yeah, obviously I'm here. I'm just very tired now.
Oh,
But
no.
no, I agree with it. The only thing is I do see why Flip's a bit apprehensive to switch. Like from the
Well,
standpoint
yeah.
that so many people use his calcs, unfortunately, it's not much you can really do about that.
Unfortunately.
It's gonna cause a lot of confusion just to switch. Even if he makes a video, not everyone's going to watch that video, and they might inherently say, like, show, I don't know, an Movica calc versus a new Nefer calc, and Nefer's at, like, I don't know, 140k DPS, and then Movica's, 130k, and it's like, well, Nefer's better than Movica, type shit. So, it's...
Yeah. I think, like...
Those people don't matter. Like, those people don't even follow actual TC. They just want the food, like, completely done for them. They don't even understand how it's cooked.
I understand that, but
Like,
it's just like they
yeah,
do
like for the
people,
first,
unfortunately.
yeah, I think you need like first of all you have to obviously explain this, like put a disclaimer, or like actually for the first few times this comes up, like you just explain it for a little bit, because I think like, if you're rational about it, to most people that like know what they're talking about, it makes sense. So like as long as you explain it and it makes sense, I think most like oh, he just left.
Oh no.
Oh no, connection
lost probably.
Like I think people will come around, especially like TC already is pretty niche, to be honest, and like Flip he's pretty big. So I think if he just did it and explained it, it would be like good. It would be for the greater good, I guess. If that makes sense.
Which I guess we can end it on that note.
Yeah.
It was very fun. Butterfer yapped a lot. It was almost like in the Skirk episode where Butterfer was mainly dominating the conversation.
And that episode is gonna be Nefer. Batches.
True, yeah, it is going to be Nefer. I'm very hyped. I mean, with the newfound, like people, I got on Twitter, like people were flaming me because a tweet of mine blew up. I said that Nefer's gameplay looks like people said that her gameplay would be boring, but it doesn't look boring to me. Like those dash cancels.
That's great.
Dash cancels look really
dash
interesting.
cancels.
I cannot wait. I genuinely cannot wait to test her.
The dash cancels work such a game.
I'm so glad that I have like the week off. That I'll be able to fully test Nefer for once.
Oh, I personally don't. I really love like certain attacks that come out and you can do stuff like dash, but also swap out. For example, Nahida charge attack and swap out it's so fun to do, especially in this abyss, because of we didn't even talk about this abyss against the hydro application enemy where you spam Nahida. Nahida is actually so good against it because she applies so much damage and immediately breaks the shield. Basically, the one time she's good.
I just want to say, against that enemy, dude, Freeze is fucking disgusting.
Freeze? I haven't even played Freeze.
Dude, if Skirk one rotates the fuck out of that boss, like half of a Skirk rotation kills it. It's so squishy if you freeze it because it doesn't get a shield.
Wait, how do you?
You can just keep
that thing, yes.
How do you kill the last chamber though?
Well, okay, so just to explain, I did that abyss on an Asia server before it came on NA on one of my mods accounts, and they didn't have Loma. And we did do it with Nahida first, just need to have room, and it was fine. We were like, wait, you do have a pretty strong, like, top, like, I think they have a top sub 100 Skirk, a very, very strong Skirk. But it's C0 or R0. So I'm like, let's see if we can brute force the crab. And I got a 2-minute clear. Basically waiting for the crab to come down. You wait 30 seconds, You do damage, it
Yeah.
goes back up, wait another 30 seconds, then you do damage, and you can kill it.
Okay.
And then they just moved Wika, the Fatui Goober, and he killed him pretty quickly because he's pretty squishy.
Okay, I see.
That
Yeah,
guy's
yeah.
funny too. He is so much nerfed compared to the Stygian version. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's true.
Holy
it is
he
very
dies so
easily
easily.
possible.
That was genuinely surprised at how weak the shield was. It's like less than half of that of Theos.
Okay.
But yeah.
We can also talk about the it's unfortunate we didn't talk about Abyss at all, but it doesn't really fit in the topic. Okay, anyway.
I just will say,
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing about the Abyss, that Saluna had the take that it's the most restrictive Abyss we've had. But honestly, I don't know if I agree with it.
Yeah, I
in
don't.
some
There
respects.
have been worse ones. There have been chillier ones. Like this is very
Yeah.
heavy chill.
Here's the thing. They've been worse when it comes to restrictions, but not to this level where if you don't have Notecry, a singular mob has 2.5 times the effective HP.
That is true. Like it is the
Like,
worst
how is
chill that we've ever seen.
Like
But
this
it is
mob
like,
essentially bricks 4-star runs. I literally cannot complete it.
yeah, I will say that. Yeah, that's true. But it is doable. Like I did get a Yomiya clear on this Abyss,
Yeah.
which was
Yes.
it took a lot of tries, but I did do it. I did Yomiya Yaka clear.
You're not also fun. When I played my Sino Taser against it, I did with Aino and C1 Furina. Guess
Yeah.
the difference in rotation amount between
Rolf?
Aino and Furina there. It was
was
3
interesting.
rotations.
Yeah, I managed to Ayaka against those guys wasn't too bad. It took I think I 2 rotated one of them, and then the other one I did 3 rotations. So total 5 rotations for Ayaka to kill them both, which wasn't
Like
too bad. It was
it's
like
one of the most disgusting shills in the game. And I don't know if people actually defend this, but I haven't seen a single person, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
well, yeah,
For
it's
what?
not. It's the thing about it, which is, I feel like the Sigrid, the local legend one, is much easier to fight because he can. It seems that his white bar fills after you kill some of the extra mobs, so it's not as
Yeah.
bad. But like the other goobers, that doesn't happen with. They just, you have to just fight. If you don't have Ascendant Gleam, you have to just completely fight to a whole HP bars
Yeah.
of 2 million HP.
Sigurd, compared to just a normal wild hunt, is a coughing baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also, I think I mistook it for the Stygian version. Like the Stygian Dire and Fearless version it is different, right?
Yeah, I think.
Sigurd,
Yeah.
Sigurd, yeah.
I think it's the same. It's just that the base HP per phase is like almost 3 times higher.
It's
Okay, that
higher.
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
one thing I appreciate is like, I think the crab's fine. The crab is really squishy, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of like which is the so they have pretty bad shield in terms of like mechanics, making things so much easier, but like
Yeah.
at least it's not like what's a good
Cry
example?
over here.
Like the cryo thing, like you can overwhelm it by adapting your team a little bit to like fit I would say the majority of what it asks from you. Like for example,
Yeah.
against the wild hunt characters, you don't necessarily need Flynn's and Nefer. You need Ascendant Gleam. So you could do
Yeah.
like that can be done with just any 2 not cry characters. Like at this moment, it's probably just gonna be Aino and Nefa or Aino Lauma, depending on your account.
Setos within F Aino can clear that shit under 100 seconds.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
pretty funny.
Like so like if you understand the mechanics, you unfittingly for a Genshin player, you read it's
Yeah.
like the shill is bad, but it's not like harsh. Or not
Yeah.
sorry. It's not like hard or firm, if that makes sense.
Firm.
It
to use.
It is the most like blatant
Yeah.
marketing
Yeah, it
strategy.
is.
Like the most recent banner who has been on banner plus Aino will clear this boss like 3 times faster than anyone else. Like
Yeah, you can
I think,
one
like-
shot the. I will say, like, if you have the right character to clear the Flynn's, I one rotated that entire chamber with Winds, whereas I haven't tried with
Yeah,
Surf. I know it's gonna be less than rotation. It's a C0 of Winds too, and then Loma can one shot the crab and
Yeah,
very
yeah.
easily, using
Yeah.
the little tech
Like,
thing. So
I think like I'll start saying it's truly cooked the moment I can't brute force it anymore. But yeah, like with understanding of the mechanics, or like when some enemies that don't have like super firm mechanics, you can brute force with more
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
Like I'm a fan already. I think Raulfigas was mentioning it, like why over time having cons is kind of a good thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
like as long as I can get my favorite characters to be able to clear it with, hey, actually I can use my standard now. I could quantify it. As long as my favorite characters can clear the shield things that are not meant for them at 6, wait, I'm happy. Or not happy, but like I'm okay with it. And that's exactly why I look at it through that lens. Like Skirk has C2, she has a signature weapon. So yeah, over time, if you don't want to pull for the shield things, C2 Skirk, C2 R1 Skirk is a pretty good brute forcer. Not gonna lie.
You know what's funny about brute forcing is that the duck from Last of Us, the Electro Goober, that was harder to brute force than the crab.
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
Which is so weird to me. Like my mod C0 Skirk could not get past the crab or to get past the duck. Yeah, but it brute forced the crab. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think I've seen a C0 Skirk brute force the duck.
Really?
It really was more. I'm pretty sure it could have been possible. I just gave up because it took. I kept getting it took I think 4 rotations to break the. It was more than 4 rotations. Was it to break the shield? But I kept getting very close and not getting. I'm like, yeah. I was also like low on time. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna keep doing this. We'll try this another time.
Okay.
But yeah, and it took. I remember it took 3 rotations for my C2 Skirk to break the shield. It was fucking crazy for a C2 Skirk. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Recommending vertical feels so easy, but at the same time so hard. With
People have a lot of stigma.
There's so much stigma, and like
I always
also...
push people to. I always recommend vertical.
That is true.
And also, like, the problem with it is like it's discriminatory. There's double standards around different forms of vertical.
Yeah. C6
like people
forces are vertical.
Like C6 4-stars are vertical. You can't argue otherwise. And like
people seem not to agree for some reason.
Like if you look at it rationally, like there's no fundamental difference between 4-star cons, like even new teammates, like a fucking Llama, an Inefa, a Durin for your Neuvillette, or like a signature weapon, or a constellation. They're all the same. So yeah, I mean, people like the second people can wrap this somewhat around their heads, they would see that my standard is 2 billion times better because it actually treats all of those things equally.
Okay, true. And with that statement of Butterfer being the best TC, we can finish the podcast episode. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a pretty interesting topic, I think. To me, it was more interesting than the elements, if I'm being honest. But
I'm happy I got to talk or got to like speak about this.
Yeah. So then see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Pull Nefer, by the way. See ya.